Hello, so today I'm going to talk about a couple questions I decided to answer from our discussion posts. So the first one is, what is a compliment that you've received that has changed your life or at least really stood out to you? Tell us about it, who said it, and why you're different now because of it. So I answered, a compliment I've received that has really stood out to me would have to be when I heard my first year of high school and throughout high school at that. I maybe wouldn't go as far as saying that it changed my life, but it definitely has shaped who I am today and has a huge impact on me. The compliment I received was from my English teacher, and in context, I thought this person was really cool, so getting a compliment from them in the first place was already awesome. And it was about my writing because it was an English class. It was along the lines of having to do with how my writing was way above my grade level, that they could tell I was passionate about it, and just overall see a skill that I have never even realized about myself. So getting a compliment that makes you see yourself from a different perspective is really cool. And when someone you look up to compliments you in general, it just means a lot, especially when the compliment is something you've never even realized about yourself, like I just said. So throughout my high school writing career, this teacher would always use my writing as examples and just be impressed by my work. And they even went as far as saying how they're always so excited to read my papers and grade them. So overall, this compliment really opened up my love for writing because I never even realized I had one. But after they said something, I was like, oh yeah, I really do like writing. And it has also inspired my career. I haven't really decided a career yet, but I would absolutely love to do a job surrounding English or writing. So it kind of opened up a whole new perspective of my life for me. And then the next question I'm gonna cover is, what is a misperception that other people have about you, and why do you think they have perceived you that way? So a misperception that other people have about me is that I come off as shy, reserved, quiet, or some people even think I come off as a little mean or I dislike them. And I've heard this a lot throughout my life, especially especially after I made a new friend and we talk about our first impressions of each other. On the other hand, once people get to know me a lot better, they tell me that I'm too nice or I'm too kind and I could get taken advantage at times because I'm just so nice and I want to help anyone as much as I can. So I feel like others perceive me this way because I have a hard time opening up to people. It takes me longer to make friends and connect with someone, and I find it difficult just sharing any kind of personal information or anything that's semi-personal to me with anyone else. And I also feel like I'm a super awkward person, especially with a stranger. So I overthink interactions, and the less words I can say are the better in my opinion, because then I won't mess anything up, or I tend to skip over my words a lot. So if I can just avoid that at all costs, that is definitely the route I'm gonna take. And I feel like once you truly get to know me, I'm the complete opposite of that though. I will talk your ear off any chance I get, and once I'm just comfortable with someone, I can just be who I actually am. So yeah. And the next question I'm gonna cover is, what's the worst thing you've ever said or done to someone that did not deserve it, and why did you do it? So I feel like this topic is a really hard and vulnerable thing to talk about. So as I was reading through the questions that we could choose, I kind of skipped over this one and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I would never choose that one. But here I am, I'm gonna choose it because owning up to your own mistakes is a huge thing to do in my opinion. And I don't do it that often, so why not take that opportunity to do it? So to go along with the question, the worst thing I've ever said or done to someone who did not deserve it happened in either my junior or senior year of high school. I think a lot of people can relate to doing something they regret in high school because you are still growing and kind of figuring out who you are, and you still have a lot to learning to do. So this is definitely a learning moment for me. And I'm sure everyone can relate to feeling peer pressure in high school and conforming to a group mentality because you're with your friends and you want to feel cool. So yeah. And also, you don't want to be the one that's left out, so sometimes you'll just do anything to avoid being the one that's left out, even if that means someone else gets left out in the end. So I was on an FCCLA trip with around 15 other girls, And I was one of the people in like a leadership role. I was a treasurer for the club, which kind of makes this even worse. And on this trip, about 4 other people who were on it were also some of my closest friends, and they were in leadership roles as well. I remember, like, on the trip, you kind of, like, see, like, who's there, and I could tell, like, there was this one girl who was kind of just, like, left out of, like, everyone has, like, their own little group that they're staying in, and she didn't have anyone. So, like, throughout the day, she just kind of, like, tried to join into our group, and more like my friends group, just try to join in with us, especially because we were in leadership roles, so she probably thought, like, oh, like, you know, like, it was the right people to join. And all my friends were just not happy about this. Like, they didn't want some random person joining in on our conversations and, like, sitting with us and stuff, which is kind of stupid now. Like, why does it matter? It's one day. But I don't think we were blatantly mean to her, but I'm sure she could tell that we weren't happy about her being there. And looking back on the situation, I just feel horrible about it. Like, it makes me kind of, like, cringe. Like, I wish I could have just been nice and, like, be there for this girl who's just kind of feeling awkward and anxious, and like she was probably having a bad day because she was like, I'm gonna go on this trip and there's no one there, and she thought that she could come to us and like we'd help her, and we didn't, and that's just horrible. So yeah, those are the questions I was gonna go over. Thank you.